Fighters up there, big UFC fight. Me too. Well, I'm sorry.
Neil.
Always a pleasure, Chief. You all right, pal?
Good. What's up there, John? Sir, how are you?
Can I call in mine or?
We can take a ride. Yeah, something else. I mean, if you want you guys to start, some of them are the kitchen. Oh, the kitchen. All right. What do you want to do for the kitchen? Meet in the. I'll go to our handlers. Give me that. Unfortunately. Yeah. Okay, good evening, everybody. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance and prayer. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, and please stand for Councilman Haynes to say the prayer.
Dear Lord God, please watch over our wonderful citizens of our beautiful town. Also, please give guidance to all of our leaders, both in government and elsewhere, both locally and on the national level, all levels up above us. Please answer the prayers of those who are sick and suffering, and also for those who are grieving. Dear Lord, please answer our prayers. Amen.
Okay, welcome everybody. Mayor mayor and deputy mayor are on vacation, so got me tonight. Lynn, would you open public meeting then?
This is to advise the meeting notices covering this meeting and intended for the students to require under the Open Public Meetings Act.
All right, at this time, need a motion to approve the city council meeting minutes and executive session of March 20th. Second. All right, can we have roll call, please?
Lettieri?
Yes.
Hany?
Yes.
Delivery?
Yes.
Kane?
Abstaining.
Reardon?
Yes.
Motion carried.
This time, we need a motion to approve the requisition list on operating expenses and payroll. Second. Can we have roll call?
Lettieri?
Yes.
Hany?
Yes.
Delivery?
Yes.
Kane?
Yes.
Reardon?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Ready? At this time, if anybody would like to comment on any item on the agenda, please come up to the microphone, say your name and address to the record, and please limit your comments to 5 minutes. Seeing there's no comments on the agenda, let's start, ordinance. And so, ordinance number 3, 2024, public hearing adoption.
Is he?
We're now opening public hearing and adoption on ordinance number 3 of 2024 regarding amendments to chapter 234 of the code of the city of Brigantine entitled parking lots. Update the parking regulations, city parking lots, permit parking. If anyone would like to address the council on this ordinance, please come forward to the microphone. I see there's no public comments on this.
I just had some clarification on this ordinance on the parking. Jim Coya, 305 20th Street, sorry.
Thank you, Jim.
So it's really good, I think it's a great program. So my one question is, there's the, I guess, a single fee, so you can use it on an ongoing basis, right? Like it's not a daily rate or something.
Well, no, from what I understand, it's either, it's different, but a single daily fee is one thing, a single permit is good forever.
So the seasonal, so is that one per household?
It's one permit.
I'm sorry, it's registered to your license plate in the vehicle. So if you have 4 vehicles and you drive all 4 of those to the beach, then you would have to pay for each vehicle and register each license plate in the system.
So there's no restriction, like, hypothetically, if I have 6 vehicles, I get 6.
You could if you want to register all your vehicles.
So it does have a negative impact, since the parking is the name, right? And you've got a lot of people that are residents that want close to the beach, so they walk. So this really then kind of like hinders someone who has a car versus someone who has maybe 4 cars. So is there any way that, just looking at it, instead of saying it's unlimited to your household based on the number of cars you have, that maybe there's a cap per household?
Well, Jim, go ahead. So I don't understand how it would hinder. So if you would imagine somebody, let's say, that has a second home here, and maybe they have a couple of vehicles, on park mobiles, why do you use all the area? So let's just say they have
3 or 4 vehicles up at their home in Pennsylvania that are all registered under Park Mobile, and then maybe they have 1 or 2 cars down here. So that's 6 cars that individual may have registered in the system. Obviously, they're not driving all 6 cars to the beach every day. Correct. So they're going to get in 1 car and drive it to the beach. So having but it's no different if somebody had 4 cars and they wanted to go into the beach fee office in previous years and buy a sticker for every.
No, I know. It's just the car. Big challenge. And the other question I have is that park. Right? Some time in the park on those lots.
From 6 p.m. to 8 a.m., you do not have to pay. However, from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m., you cannot have a vehicle parked in those lots for more than 4 hours at a time.
So how is that monitored?
That would be the police department their enforcement for parking.
So they go in and there's.
I'll let the police chief comment on that.
Talk about after hours?
Yeah.
Once 8 in the morning hits, they have to then pay.
How do you, so my point is that have violations of parking when there's needed parking. Same question, same kind of. So that.
So Jim, the parking is the same as it's always been. There's no changes to that. We're just making it more convenient for everybody to get their parking permits online now. That's all this is doing. Nothing changed. Just making it.
The restrictions you're discussing have always been in the ordinance. This is nothing new. The only thing that's changed is instead of having a sticker that's going to go in your window, it's now going to be park mobile. Everything else we just talked about, the overnight, that's current. That's always been in the ordinance. That's not changing. That has always been there.
Read it. So in the past, I paid.
There was, you would buy a sticker from the beach fee office. It would go in your rear view mirror of your vehicle. And then when the parking enforcement went through the lot, they looked for the sticker in your rear view mirror. Didn't have one, you got a ticket, you had one, they kept walking. Well, now it's tied to your license plate, and parking enforcement will be able to check the license plates in the system to see who has.
So we're gonna have people check the license for parking.
Yes, we are.
Believe it or not, that goes on right now for different things.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Anytime. Great. Good to see you.
Tiger,
We missed you the last few minutes.
Tiger, I just had a question. You said it can't, the 4-hour window, it can't be overnight if it's parked, or those hours, I should say, 6 to 8.
So in the current ordinance, and which will remain in this ordinance, between the hours of 6 p.m. and 6 a.m., the code says you're not allowed to have a vehicle parked in excess of 4 hours at one time. It doesn't stipulate no overnight parking. It just says you can't park for more than 4 hours. I'm sorry if I said 6 hours, 4 hours at one time. And that's been in the ordinance. That is not changing.
So there's no other public
I just
comment.
didn't see it here in the.
No, that's because it's the language that's already there. There's no change in that.
And, I want to thank Tiger. I know you've been working hard with that, working with the parking. What do they call it?
Park mobile, yeah.
Park mobile.
Yeah.
All right, so if there's no other public comments, and we don't have any other council comments on the parking issue, Rick?
But the only thing else, I
You're
think,
winking
Jim,
at me?
I thought maybe,
No? All right.
Jim
There's
was just speaking about, like, some people it's convenient for them to just have a little small piece of tape and switch from car to car now and then. That convenience, if you will, is no longer applicable.
Right. So, if there's no other council comments, then, can I get a roll call, please?
Yes.
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 Reardon,
Yes. All righty, ordinance 5 of 2020.
Well, I'll make that motion.
Oh, second.
Oh, there you go.
There we go.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Ordinance number 5 of 2024. Amending chapter 210-37, article 2 of the Code of the City of Brigantine, portion as it relates to fees. If anyone would like to address the council on this ordinance, please come forward and use the microphone. All right, seeing there's nobody coming up, can I get a motion in a second, please? I'll make that motion. All right, if there's no council comments, then can we have roll call?
Yes.
Delivery,
Yes.
Kane,
Yes.
Reardon,
Yes.
motion carried.
All Now, public hearing and adoption on ordinance number 6 of 2024, amending chapter 260 of the Code of the City of Brigantine portion entitled Streets and Sidewalks to add to Article 2 revocable license agreement for encroachments. Anybody like to come up and address council on this ordinance? Introduction, please come forward now. Seeing there's no one coming up, can I get a motion second? Second. All right, any council comments? Seeing no council comments, can we have roll call, please?
Lettieri?
Yes.
Hany?
Yes.
Delivery? Kane?
Yes.
Reardon?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Next, we have ordinance 7 of 2024. We need a motion and second to introduce ordinance 7, 2024, amending various sections of the municipal code concerning the possession or consumption of alcohol beverages on city property. I'll make that motion. Tiger. Yeah. Right, okay. So, there's no questions or council comments. Can we have roll call, please?
Lettieri?
Yes.
Hany?
Yes.
Delivery?
Yes.
Kane?
Yes.
Reardon?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Now we need a motion and second to adopt resolution 2024-59, authorizing the purchase of one Chevy Tahoe vehicle under state contract 21 Fleet 01483 from Hedrick Fleet Services Incorporated. I'll make that motion. Can we have roll call, please?
Lettieri?
Yes.
Yes. Delivery?
Yes.
Kane?
Yes.
Reardon?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Now we need a motion and a second to adopt resolution 2024-60, authorizing a contract with JPSC 239 LL for operating the City of Brigantine's mini golf facility. I'll make that motion. Second. Can we have roll call, please?
Lettieri?
Yes.
Delivery?
Yes.
Kane?
Yes.
Reardon?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Next up, we have a motion to adopt resolution 2024-61, authorizing the tax collector to prepare and mail the estimated tax bills. Get a motion second. I'll make that motion. Second. Can we have roll call, please?
Lettieri?
Yes.
Hany?
Yes.
Delivery?
Yes.
Kane?
Yes.
Reardon?
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, next up, a motion to adopt resolution 2024-62, authorizing the city to enter into a lease with Brigantine Rowing for the Disabled Incorporated. Can I get a motion in a second? I'll make that motion. Second. All right. No questions or comments? Can I have roll call, please?
Lettieri?
Yes.
Hany?
Yes.
Delivery?
Yes.
Kane?
Yes.
Reardon?
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, next we have a motion to adopt resolution 2024-63, authorizing the cancellation of taxes for 100% permanently and totally disabled resident. Motion and second. Second. All right, if there's no questions or comments, can I have roll call, please?
Lettieri?
Yes.
Hany?
Yes.
Delivery?
Yes.
Kane?
Yes.
Reardon?
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, next up, we got a motion to adopt resolution 2024-64, authorizing the voluntary recognition and unit definition agreement with the Teamsters Local Unit 676. Motion and second. I'll make that motion. Okay, if there's no questions or comments, can we have roll call, please?
Lettieri?
Yes.
Hany?
Yes.
Delivery?
Yes.
Kane?
Yes.
Reardon?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Right, next up, the motion to adopt resolution 2024-65, renewing the Smile Factory's amusement games license. Motion and second. I'll make that motion. Second. All right, if there's no questions or comments, can we have roll call, please?
Lettieri?
Yes.
Hany?
Great operation and a wonderful endeavor by Dr. Jeff Delson. So, yes.
Delivery?
Yes.
Kane?
Yes.
Reardon?
Absolutely.
Motion carried.
All right, next up, a motion to adopt resolution 2024-66, authorizing an award of contract with Utility Service Company Incorporated for emergency utility repairs for steel and disinfection. I need a motion and second. Next second. All right, if there's any, no questions or comments, we have a comment here. Hold on.
This is the resolution.
We'll talk about it later. Okay, right, yeah. Okay, John, you want to explain a little bit, please?
Yes. This is ongoing repair that we're doing at the water tower on 14th Street. Will be draining tank. The inside of the pole needed substantial work that we cannot see before we drain.
So that's the water tower that's right next to City Hall here. And it was something that was unforeseen, and it was, the repair was less than 20% of the total bill, so we didn't have to put it back out to bid. So that's what it's all about. All right, can we have roll call, please?
Terry,
Yes.
Yes.
Delivery,
Yes.
Kane,
Yes.
Reardon,
Yes.
motion carried.
Next, I need a motion second for the consent agenda, which includes Women's Surfing Fishing Club of New Jersey, raffle license 1052, the Women's Surfing Fishing Club of New Jersey, raffle license 1053, Surf and Land Sportsman Club Fishing Tournament request, VFW Veteran Surfing Event request, and Heart of Surfing request. Give me a roll call, please. I'll make a motion second.
I'll make that motion.
Right.
Second.
Terry,
Yes.
Delivery,
Yes.
Kane,
Yes.
Reardon,
Yes.
motion carried.
All right, now we have time for council manager and committee discussion. Tiger, do you have any topics you'd like to discuss?
No, sir.
Okay. Next up, Councilman Paul, second ward. Chief John, nothing? No?
Yeah, Mike, I just, Chief's not here, but retired Fire Chief Platt's here. Just want to offer my condolences about Big Ernie. We lost Big Ernie, and he was a character. He was larger than life, and always made me laugh when I talked with him. And after retirement, I would see him at his house, and always had some great conversations with him. Always made me laugh. Just wanted to throw out my condolences to the family. Big Ernie Westcott.
Oh, Mr. Westcott passed?
Yeah. So I wanted to offer also my condolences to the family. I've known the kids for a while and Todd Schwabe for a while, so yeah, just wanted to throw that out there.
Thank you, Chief. On the third ward, Councilman Dennis Haney.
Everybody stay dry. That's all I got.
Next up, fourth ward, Councilman Rick DeLuca.
I'm going to keep this moving because I think Mike left his car running or something. But I want to share the chief's sentiments. For those of us who grew up in the vicinity of the old firehouse around 36th Street, Big Ernie was a mainstay of firefighters there at the time, and they were a big part of the neighborhood. He was just a good guy. Thank you.
Rick. First ward, Councilman. Okay.
Just a couple of things I want to mention. I went to the Garden Club meeting the other day. What a fantastic group. I'm going to thank all the volunteers and all the new volunteers that we have. Got new leadership, ready to get things rocking and rolling over there. They've done an amazing job. I think they can always use help. And if anybody wants to get involved in the Garden Club, please contact them. We have a garden tour that's coming up. Secret tour is that on the 29th of June, if I'm correct. And if you want your homes to be judged, contact them via email. And I think they'll be taking applications up until June 8th. That's what I thought. So jump on the Garden Club website if you'd like your house to get judged, and these folks will come out and judge your property. But I want to thank everybody again. Amazing job. Thank you.
I just want to thank everybody for coming out here tonight in the rain. Thank you for getting to be a part of the Garden Club. We appreciate that. There's a lot going on. Spring is here. It's exciting. The Cultural Arts has an event coming up at the Cove. It's an opera, Madame Butterfly. You gotta check in the paper. Right now, it's in 2 Sundays, I think, 3 o'clock on Sunday afternoon, but that's it. And then we're working hard on the situation down Pepper Cove and with the beach down there. We've been on the phone with the Army Corps of Engineers and DEP, so we're doing the best we can with that. Trying to expedite the process for permits if some people down there want to put up bulkheads. And so we're doing everything we can in that situation. To continue to do that. So at this time, I'd like to open up the public comments to the public. State your name and address for the record. Please limit it here to the 5-minute rule.
Tim Boy, 305 Plum Street. Observation. City. My only question is, tax rebate. Are there right? Other than the fact, look at, or did you just say it's a veteran? Say.
So there's forms that the veterans have to fill out when there's disabilities involved. Once they have those forms filled out, they're whatever percentage of relief they get, that's what it is.
It's a state regulated.
State regulated.
It's not a doing the city, it's state regulated. And you have to be 100% disabled veteran. If you're 50%, you don't get a discount.
I was just
It's
curious
100%.
income levels, because that could be a very.
You're right.
That's supposed to be hours renovation.
Right.
And
Maintenance, right.
And then last fall, there was where's the difference between this fixed versus the place and maintain towers? It's supposed to be wrong.
Right. So the maintenance and repair of the towers was basically for the exterior of the tower and all. So what's happened now with the leak inside and all, that wasn't included on what we were paying for.
My point is, under
Right. Less than 20%.
Less than 20%. What's the project? Based on
Right.
the amount of the bond given towards this project.
Right, so Jim, the 20% is based on this current project. The
Right.
bonds, it's irrelevant of, the 20% has nothing to do with the total money bonded for the complete, what we expect to use. This is strictly for this tower and this scope of work that is currently being done.
Right.
So, they tell us this is what we're gonna do, this is how much it costs. And then when they get in there, they go, okay, there's some additional work that needs to be done. As long as we stay under 20% of the current scope of what they're working on, then we don't have to go out to rebid it, we can keep it. And which was the case, and I think it was $188,000 is the price for this additional work that needs to be done.
Thank you.
Sir.
Thanks. John?
John Johnson, 36 Stroke Hill Beach Drive. Number one, Mike, congrats to you. You really are a fast reader and you move this meeting along real fast, a record pace. Thank you. I'm questioning the contract for the mini golf. Is that a new operator?
No, that's been the same operator and the only bidder that we've had for the last several years now, so
And how long is that contract?
it's a 1-year contract.
Thank
Yeah, thanks.
Signs and traffic on our street doesn't go right. Consistently, people can't read those great big red signs.
Do not enter signs?
Oh yeah, they don't see them. They
Right.
don't. Oh, I can see a sign. But I'm only going right. Nice to have some better signs there, like the ones that have on my house that say one way. It's there so they can see that. The other thing is, the no parking signs on the one side of the street. There's like 3 for the whole length of that street. So, another thing, you have somebody put a sign right in front of this, right? And they still don't see it. And mainly, it's in front of 219, the party house. All right? And go the wrong way again, they come in the wrong way, park on the wrong side of the street. And that needs to be, you guys, please come up there. Very nice, whatever, but they don't have to go looking for this. There's their car, put a ticket on it.
Gotcha.
You know, that's ridiculous, but our street, and if a car pulls in that street, boom, they're on, beat and put a ticket on their car. Because that's the fire department. Well, if you have parking on my street on both sides, you're gonna have a hard time getting a fire truck down that street, and also the bus. Right? The buses have a hard time getting down there with the parking on both sides. Right. And I don't want my car whacked. Bus driver can't navigate his
Right,
way through
yeah.
the parking on both sides. Speed limit signs. We need speed limit sign. What's it set for that street? It can't be 30 or 35 miles an hour because that's the average speed on my block. Every day going both ways. Oh. Right. Trying to find the guy that's in the test. Find his car way. Put a note on the door that says, please do that on your street. Right. The wrong way. Consistent. Stand. Another problem with the park. And come up there and they turn in to go down the street. So, well, I'm only trying to get right here. Well, got to go around. Or they back up and they start backing down to get to the parking spots.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. It really can't be that much. Go around and park. Yeah, definitely signs. The signs have to be changed, added to, and made it right now.
Okay. All right. So we want more signs, arrows on the street, no parking signs in front of the party house, and
Well, no, the whole street, it's not. There's not enough police activity there for the right reason. Like checking up and down our street to what goes on there. I mean, since the shooting, it hasn't been too bad.
right.
It's starting to build back up again because that house is open. Another house across the street from it. It's the same thing. They backed in. These people backed in. So
So Steve, let me ask you, if at any time you saw cars parked illegally or any of the stuff going on with driving down the wrong way and one-way street. Has anybody, you or any of the other neighbors on the street, called the police and the police haven't reported and, or you just,
The cars lined up on the wrong side of the street or facing the wrong way.
right,
But half the time, all you blur by your window.
oh, that's the blur of the car driving down the wrong way.
Right, going the
Right.
wrong way. So I
Yeah.
mean, it's kind of hard to.
Yeah. Have we called the police for parking illegally parked cars at any time and have you seen the police issue
Oh,
any
they
tickets?
always come, but nobody gets a ticket.
Chief, you want to comment on that?
Yeah, we were called this weekend and there was a bunch of tickets written. It's in the computer.
All right.
Yeah, it's like the Acco Speedway almost. When I called them that night, they came. Cars were all lined up there, and some guy in a Chevy pickup truck that racing down the street.
So the problem is mostly on the weekends.
Driving the wrong way. Oh, that happens. No, I have a camera, but I don't feel like messing with it. I don't like buying a camera,
Right.
have it placed up there, put it on my.
All right. Hey, Steve, listen, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go up there and take a look with, maybe we can put more signs up there, and just control the area a little better for the parking and stuff, especially on the weekends. I've mentioned before the meeting, I know for a fact, this weekend, this past weekend, there was a big UFC fight in Atlantic City, and I know that some of the fighters from the card were actually staying at the house there, so. Right, yeah. So I mean, it's noted. I don't know, is there anything else we could do, Tiger?
I mean, I could talk to John. We can go down there and we can look and see what the signs are and see if maybe they're faded or not properly. We've had this in other one-way streets where positioning of them that wasn't conducive to people seeing until they were already past them. So we take a look at it. So.
Yeah, the 13th Street Community Association. All right, thank you. Thank you, Steve.
Louise Grover, 301 20th Street. I'm here tonight on behalf of the Brigantine Garden Club. The other night, you were graciously at the meeting, Mr. Kane. You must have maybe you remember. I mentioned that it was a shame that when a house is taken down on the island, so many of the plants, shrubbery is gone with it. And I would love to see those plants and shrubs repurposed, reused. And after the meeting, I was approached by several volunteers that said we need a liaison with the city to be able to communicate with us down before the wrecking ball comes to it. Maybe you could go over there. And I remember years ago when I believe was somebody on Bay Shore. She welcomed everybody to come with a shovel. And we did. My co-chair did approach the people at the house that came down on 1904 Brigantine Avenue and said, please call, let us know. We watched the big trees and all the plants go. We couldn't really put them to live in the city. I mean, there are bed tenders that are brand new that are asking for plants and there's plenty of sites that could use it. So is there a way that we could have somebody work with us to let us know such and such a place is coming down? Alice Falls came down last summer and she had a back, front, side yard full of flowers. that would just give us a heads up and maybe talk to the owner, to the person that's selling and ask, dig them up. We'll dig them up. We're not asking them to dig it up for us.
Right, I think it also comes down to the person that's selling the property, and the person that's buying the property. The person selling the property says, yeah, you can come take whatever you want. The person buying the property says, well, time out. They're buying, even though I'm bringing in a wrecking ball to tear it down. So I think we have to try and figure out a way to get permission from the new owner that's buying it and permission from the old owner that says they can take it. I'm not sure if there's insurance liabilities.
I assume so much.
Can I make a suggestion? And I don't know if this comes into play. So when I was the fire chief, we created a form that we put down in the construction office. And when somebody would come in for a demo permit, the staff in the construction office would hand them this form. And basically it said, hey, you know, it was a hold harmless. Can we use this property for training? So we go on the roof, cut holes, bust down walls, bust down doors, the whole bit. And usually we would go in a day or two before the wrecking ball shows up and cause all kinds of havoc, and it didn't matter because they were just taking it all out of there. So I don't know if. Yeah.
What about a waiver?
John, is Garden Club covered by the city because of when they're on the street? So they may be covered.
As long as they had a run.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's no
So-
problem.
My suggestion,
Make sure that you're insured.
Yes.
Covered this kind of thing.
that would be something we'd have to look into. So we can find out if in fact you would be covered, because I know you are covered when you're on the streets.
Right.
Under the city's insurance. My recommendation would be maybe make up a form that we could put in the construction office and, you know, explain what you would like to do and have a point of contact or somebody. Alls we can do is ask the girls down there to hand that out with the demo permit. And if they call you, great. And I mean, if we can, you know, save some, you know, flowers and shrubs or whatever that can go somewhere else. But that would be my recommendation. Maybe generate a form, get it to me,
Okay.
and then I will check the insurance part of it to make sure you're covered if you were to go onto that property, because it is private property. And then maybe we can meet in the middle and come up with something. Maybe and save something.
And Louise, I think it's a wonderful idea. And also what I do is I would post it a lot on social media. We have some great sites.
It's
Real
on there.
Brigantine has, I don't know, 30 or 50,000 people following them. Letting the people know that the garden club is willing to come in, not only for demo houses, but anybody who wanted flowers or plants or anything removed, that we would gladly come and do it.
We have it in the Brigantine Times. Phyllis, who writes the article, has written that. But
That's good.
now that you've said that, I will ask our
Yeah.
Facebook person
Yeah.
to put that in.
Real
there.
Brigantine is
She'll do
best watched,
it. Okay,
and not too much griping, whining on there. So.
okay. Thank you.
Then before you start the timer, I just want to sort these papers out so I can get ready to give them. Possible. Andrea Sullivan, 2000 Ocean Avenue. And here I go again in first gear for the year of 2024 on this STR issue. My question, since Mayor Sarah's not here, Mike, who is the STR official overseeing this regulation that we imposed effective January 1st of this year?
Well, for Tiger, since she's got.
So we had advertised the position and had to pause it. Currently, just today, I instructed our personnel director to replace it internally. We're going to advertise again for a week as we're supposed to do. And then if we don't get any qualified candidates, we'll advertise outside. I expect in the next couple weeks, probably the next 3 weeks, we should have some. And I apologize that there's been a delay, but unfortunately, there was an issue that arose that we could not hire a position. But we are moving in the right.
Can you give a hint as to what the issue was?
I cannot.
So we're in April, and now we're coming into May. We have no supervisor overseeing this havoc that's about to unleash on our residential neighborhoods.
The rules are in place.
Who's
If we
enforcing
call
them?
the Police. If we call the police, if there's a situation,
We gotta trouble
can, you know, we'll handle the situation. If there's a problem, we'll take care of it now. You can still call because if no one hired right now, doesn't mean that the rules aren't going to be enforced. That wasn't the process. We enforced the rules, we implemented the rules, and we're going to enforce the rules now.
Okay, so what the undertow is, and I'm just a talking head, like I said, I'm representing everybody who sends me the emails, texts me, you know, calls me. In Nantucket, which I sent you that because someone sent me that from up there, they've tackled this where someone who purchases a property of a single family residence, they cannot use it most of the year for purposes of STR use, like a commercial mini hotel, if you will. And I did some research. I haven't really pulled all my tricks out of my hat yet, but you have a copy of a deed, a page. I redacted information that might lead you back to whose deed it might have been from. But every property between 31st and 15th Street, inclusive between the ocean and the bay, all have that covenant in it and on it that restricts that the use of that parcel of land to single family dwelling for a single family home to be occupied by a single family, not 18 unrelated individuals coming in for a U-Haul weekend.
Okay, so let me ask you, you want to revisit the ordinance?
I want the ordinance. I want these things enforced. These things enforced. Where the city's allowing violations of the covenants that run with the land. Rick would know that. It runs with the land. They're not revocable unless you take it to court. These are being used in violation of the covenants on all these deeds.
Okay. So this is something that you're saying because it's listed as a single family residence that it's not allowed to be used as an Airbnb, or you don't want it to be?
It's not a single family. 18 unrelated guys coming in for a weekend is not a family.
Maybe I can cut in here real fast, if you don't mind. Whenever I hear stuff like this, I worry about the next round of litigation.
Gotcha.
There is something called the Fair Housing Act. You cannot define a family as a single unit. It could be a number of unrelated individuals. I represent several towns that have colleges in them. They use houses as dorms. Those are all unrelated individuals. Try to regulate that or stop it, you're going to end up in court and you're going to pay the attorney's fees and probably trouble them.
I understand it because I followed that too in Gloucester. They had one from Rowan where they were like a fraternity sorority. They rented a house for the semester, fall and spring.
Come on up to my town of Ewing where we have the College of New Jersey and
Yeah.
I can show you lawsuit after lawsuit that we have lost in this kind of argument.
But in that instance, they are functioning. They live together. They sleep together. They have refrigerated
Well, one would
goods.
hope they all don't sleep together.
Yeah, well, they don't sleep together in the same, you know, get my drift. They sleep in the same, under the same roof, like a fraternity and sorority house. That's understandable, but people coming from here, there and everywhere from all points just for the weekend, like the gentleman before said, to raise hell like on 15th Street North, on 20th Street South, they're not a family.
Well, just remember, I have been living this for a while now, thanks to this good city.
regulations that I helped to write. And we researched this matter thoroughly. And I have some towns where we totally banned, but you've got to do that town-wide. And, this town has chosen not to do that. Regulations have been put forth, just reviewed by a judge. Judge so far, and the matter's ongoing, the judge so far has ruled in our favor because we do have regulations that comply with their housing laws and the police power regulatory laws we have here in the city of Brigantine. So if we were to go any further at this point, further regulation, we'd end up back in court, and I can't guarantee that we would win.
Okay. But I know covenants are pretty binding.
Okay, you cannot; those covenants don't apply here in New Jersey as far as what you're trying to do.
On that deed, that covenant in that deed is not enforceable.
It applies to certain situations, but does not apply to STRs.
So single family homes.
Yes, in a single family.
Well, how do you identify a single family home as an STR? Where's the?
It's still a single family home. Which is being rented out.
Occupied by unrelated individuals.
Again, ma'am, I really ask that we don't go there because this transcript's going to be in front of a judge.
Well, still.
I'm telling you, do not go there because I have been in litigation on this and it's a real problem. Can't talk about unrelated individuals.
Well, I guess that could be a debate for another time, maybe over beer or something. But anyway, so. The other thing too, we have some homes in, at least on my street, and I have the pictures here. There's most of the site, and I reached out to Paul Dennis. There's a lot of impervious surface. These pavers, I know people have put up homes and the pavers are not considered pervious, and the runoff. I mean, it's a lake at the end of the street in the beach entrance. So, and we're continuing to allow them. They've been doing some work there, and more pavers are going down, and it's actually. The water is completely covered the street, the crest of the street. It's up to Bob's driveway at 2000 Ocean Avenue. I think something's got to be done if they can send somebody around to look at these properties. I've got pictures.
So you probably have to report it, come in or call up and report. Is that right, Tiger? To feel that someone.
So it's actually been reported. The construction official has been down there. They're not putting any additional pavers. They were doing work to flower boxes. They do have, they weren't required any permitting for it because of what they were doing, but our construction official has been down there in the past, within the last 30 days.
Well, there was exposed wiring and irrigation tubing after they ripped out those beds that had to be, I guess, rerouted or repurposed or recircuited. I would imagine permits had to be pulled for that work.
From what I was told, the work they were doing did not require permits, but I can check tomorrow with the construction official. I was not aware of rerouting wiring. The only thing I was aware of was the beds that were being.
Well, I have pictures. So I think Councilman Lateria had called him, and he came out and he witnessed it as well. Okay, and well, there was a concern too. I guess I could just get a yes or no. Oil tank removal. That's a buried oil tank underground. Is there a special permit required to extract an oil tank from underground on a demo site?
Yes.
Is there a special contractor that's approved? Is there a certain list of contractors that approve this? And they have to go with an approved contractor to remove that tank?
Correct.
Does anybody know the procedure off the top of their head? Is it like a crane that hoists it, or can they break it up on site?
You got to pull the tank, you got to test the ground, make sure that there's no contamination. Got to bore it down, make sure the water's clean.
Well, that was, Mike, you're aware of it, 1904
Yeah.
Brigantine Avenue had.
Yeah. Yeah, you can call me direct anytime. My number's on the front page of the Brigantine Times.
I don't know if they still do it. Many years ago, they saw them in half, just leave them in there, just clean and smooth.
NH Phillips, 308 27th Street. Mr. Beard, is it clear?
You can call me Mike.
All right. I want to thank you for the reading at the last meeting of section 246-1, definition of a resort house.
You're welcome.
in our zoning code, yes. For over a year, those of us concerned and affected by the short-term rental have been waiting for council to acknowledge this legal definition and use it to address the very real problems we have here on short-term rentals. And ask council to ask the city manager, since that is a procedure, why he has denied the existence of these resort houses and has used the word technicality to support his position. But based on this definition, right here. I believe we're the first commissioner, council person to read this definition. And it's been on the books for several years, more than several. And it gets into what is a commercial enterprise in a residential zone. And the fact that this is not permitted. So you've accomplished something that we've been waiting for. At least you brought it out in the open, you read it. I don't know if everybody on council has read it or not, but it is part of our zoning code, so.
I just happened to have it that day. That's the only reason I read it. Otherwise, they would have read it. But- So let me ask you a question. Okay, can you tell us the particular resort house or more that you're talking about? You're saying there are resort houses on the island, is that
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
Okay. Can you give us an address, or if you don't want to give us an address now, give us an address, whenever you get it, and then we'll look into the definition. I don't think we have any resort houses.
Sarah has addressed it several times.
And if I may, I have been able to discuss this with the city administrator, and we've looked at the ordinance, we looked at the definition, looked at the definition throughout the state of New Jersey. There are no resort houses here in Brigantine that I can define this definition. It doesn't apply here in the city of
Well,
Brigantine.
may I read this to you?
I
Because-
read it. I read the whole
Well,
thing.
then I don't see how you can say that. We've
A-
got
as an- as an-
houses, certainly in the 20th Street, other places. I believe there's one in my block that fulfills this definition of renting, leasing for these gatherings.
In a commercial area.
Yes. Well, that is
These
what
are-
these
these are not-
houses are doing.
They're not commercial, they're not
That's right, they're not,
correct.
but they are commercial.
You can you're trying to take something that's a commercial use and put it.
No, that's what has been done, sir.
But here, these are, again, residential properties that fit that residential definition. So this does not apply to houses here in the state.
Sir, I can understand English and what this says. You're a lawyer, I'm not. But
I have drafted
nevertheless,
these
these
regulations.
they are organizing, managing activities that take place as commercial activities that don't belong in a residential zone. So how can you dispute that this does not
Here
apply
is-
to Brigantine?
Here is how I can dispute it. You're just in front of Judge Lee. City. This definition is part of our argument. Judge Lee stated that these are residential houses. These are not commercial houses. We've spent two and a half hours arguing this, and these are not being defined as commercial uses. Not resort houses.
It says a residentially styled structure,
Ma'am,
which they
ma'am,
are.
Ma'am,
What court were you, what case was this?
Superior Court, the STR Association versus the City of Brigantine.
And how was this case disposed of?
It was on an order to show cause, we won, but the definitions were discussed.
And did you go into the details of this resort house deposition?
Yes, we've talked about all these definitions.
Well,
So,
how can
Mrs.
you-
Phillips, if I may, okay? If you have an address of a particular house that you feel is acting as a resort house, you can call me direct, you can get in touch with any one of us, and we will get right on it with Tiger and our council and look into it as soon as possible. And if it's a resort house operating in a residential area, I guarantee you it's illegal and we'll shut it down.
These people who live in this particular area around 20th Street, giving you that information. We have been over this.
Oh, so you're saying houses on 20th Street are resort houses?
Yes. And I believe I have one on my block.
Here's the problem. If you go ahead and have them cited as a resort house, it's a legal activity, and it goes before the court will find, it's already been found by Judge Lee, it is not a resort house. We will not be able to enforce it. So it'll just be in action without any consequence.
Well, what was the purpose of the case? How was it decided in terms of the result? What happens as a result of the judge's decision?
The judge made a decision that there is not irreparable harm going on right now with those who are operating SDRs in the city. The rest of the case is still ongoing.
Well, I think that
Right now, it has not been, the ordinance has not been enjoined.
I think
Do
the
you
public
know
would
if
be
any of
very
these-
interested in knowing what has happened so far, and there's been no publicity on this at all.
So, Mrs. Phillips, if I may, do you know if any of these houses on 20th Street or the one on your street at this moment is advertising special events, but not limited to weddings, retreats, family reunions, parties, or meetings? Or are they just advertising for rent?
No, they're advertising. They have these events. They
Okay,
put this
can
in.
you have a copy of the events that they're
You
talking
have a
about?
copy of a pamphlet that was distributed by Andrea last year, detailing the advertising that goes with this.
We
These are
agree-
clearly
we agree-
advertised.
We agree there was issues at one time that people were advertising for uses that were illegal, and that has stopped.
You
Do
saying
we
that
currently,
advertising is,
currently, I don't believe there are any of those houses on 20th Street are advertising for weddings, retreats, get-togethers. Correct me if I'm wrong.
so in other words, you're saying that there's no advertising at all that has anything to do with these events that are held over weekend principally?
I feel
And-
pretty confident that if any house on 20th Street at this moment was advertising weddings, retreats, family get-togethers, or bachelor parties, bat mitzvahs, or anything else, that
And this will
anybody in that
not,
second row right there would be right up here with paperwork.
and this will not occur this year. Is that what you're saying? This advertising will not occur this year. It occurred before, but it's not going to occur
If
this
the
year.
advertising occurs this year, it'll be illegal, and we'll enforce the rules.
Well, that gets back to the lawyer's comments as to these are not resort houses. They don't fit the
That's right,
definition.
and if
but
they're breaking the
evidently they
rules,
do.
we're gonna break down on rule breakers.
Listen, we're on your side. I get exactly where you're coming from with that definition and where you're going, but it's already been brought before our lawyers and the courts, and they're not agreeing with us.
Well,
I get what you're saying 1,000%. We're on your side. I get it. But right now, the lawyers and the courts are telling us it's not cutting mustard. And the definition that
And this is why we place the SDR regulations that are in place now. If we're violating them, we will take care of it.
And what do you consider a violation?
So we're talking about if they're running events and things like that.
So in other words, if you find an ad, you will consider it now a resort house?
We will consider that a violation of the SDR regulations.
I know my time is up, however.
Have a little
Reading this and living through what has been taking place here for the past year, I do not see how Judge Blee could say that there were no resort houses in Brigantine. He should come over here and take a look during the year. And the public needs to be aware of what's going on in that courtroom. And some publicity needs to be given because
In the meantime, if you could help us, give us the addresses of the houses that you're saying are resort houses or acting as resort houses, and we'll enforce it. And now, listen, let's not kick the cans down the road. How have things been since we since we put the new rules in?
and what
How have
month
the
is it?
things
What
been on
time of the
20th Street
year
now
is it?
so far this year?
The season hasn't started. There are still things going
Oh,
on.
we had
but
problems outside the season last year on 20th Street for sure. That's why I'm just asking right now. I'm a little just wondering if there's been any change and
Well, I
since
think some of the
we
members on,
changed the
people
rules.
who live on 20th Street would probably be able to give
Okay.
a more direct answer.
But yeah, we'll be happy to help you. Just give us an address or two, whatever you want. We will look into it and we will enforce those rules. If they're acting as a resort house, it's gonna get shut down.
Okay, excuse me, sir. You're the solicitor for the city. And this case is not over, you said?
It's not.
Well, when will there be, how do we get a copy of what the judge has said so far?
5 minutes or so.
Okay. We would like to have that copy. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Phillips.
Okay. 2 weeks ago, there were at least, I think I counted 12 cars at 306. I did take pictures. I also counted when I was leaving. I tried to get pictures of all. There were over 20. I didn't know who to call. And I'm thinking, if I call the police, by the time the police get there, they're going to call me. I mean, I don't even know what to do. Those were 12 cars on the street. I didn't get to walk behind the house to see if there were any cars parked there. So there are still problems going on. He is still advertising, not in the when the person on the site, but in the body of his ad. He advertises all the bedrooms, all of the type of bed that's in the bedroom. Count them up. It's over 18. Both of those houses from 3 or 4 to 6. There's one house that's like 23. You can fit sleeping, and one house is 24. It still advertises about the garage that's now an entertainment center with sleeping. So it is still going on, and I mean that is, in my opinion, false advertising. He's saying you can sleep this, even though he says up to 18 in the car. Somebody reads that. If they're looking for a place to rent, they're going to read that and say, well, we can. Oh yeah, I mean, doesn't it say something about 4 people to a car?
Yes.
That you're limited to 4 people to a car, which means you have up to 18 people. Yeah. So that's way over the limit.
Are they all sleeping there or are they visiting?
No, these people were all sleeping there. I saw them all.
I get that, but remember when we've been arguing over the last year, we can't kick in the door and count how many people are sleeping in bed. I get where you're coming from, and I know exactly what you're saying, but again, certain things we can do, certain things we can't do. So if we've got 20 cars out front, we can't kick in the door and start counting how many people are actually asleep in the house. I know what you're saying, but you got to look at it from our point too. So we'll figure something out. We're going to have somebody in place in a couple of weeks. Let's see how things go. Listen, we can change things. We can adapt things. We can see what's working and what's not working. But right now, let's wait and get this person into his job. Let's see how things go, and we'll go from there. I understand your concerns, but let's see how things go. And like I said, if the problems continue after we get somebody in place and things aren't working out, come to us, and as a team, we'll make the changes that we need to make. We're here to work with you. I know you're upset, but let's try and wait and see how things go first.
I understand that. If I have pictures, back to the cars. I mean,
Again, it would be thrown out in court. I'm telling you, it would be thrown. No. What I'm saying is, a judge would say, "All right, you've got 20 people with suitcases leaving here, and that's all you've got is, and you know that they actually were sleeping in a house." I'm telling you, I mean, the lawyers would know better than me, but I've been through courts before. It's harder for us to prove. I understand. I'm on your side. I get what you're saying. It seems like common sense to me. The courts don't always see it that way. I get it. I get it. I get it. I understand.
This guy uses garage as a bed. I've been, I don't know the fact. With got pets in the garage. But he's also, that garage is part of his parking equipment. So you can't have it both ways.
Any violation inside of. That's part of the inspection process.
And how about him advertising?
They're about to sleep up to 18, correct? But they're over 18. I get it. I understand. Listen, we're frustrated too.
Yeah, again, we're putting everything into place, as the committee said, we're putting everything into place. We're trying to make sure that everything is lined up correctly. There'll be inspections. If they're in violation, will be cited.
You folks have been incredibly patient with us for a year. And I know you're frustrated. Please just give us just a little bit more time is what we're asking. Wait for us to get this person into place and let's see what goes from there. I get it. I get it. I get it.
Seeing there's no further public comments, no further council comments. Need a motion to adjourn. Second. All in favor? Aye. Thank you all for coming out. Seeing the council at work.